When I set out to make this video, I fully intended to be able to tell you how the new Tech Air5 Plasma is superior to the original Tech Air5 in every way. But that is not the case. Alpinestar's Tech Air5 series of airbags are ideal for daily street use. This is the original Tech Air5. It was released back in 2020, and I bought this one a couple years ago before then updating to the new Tech Air5 Plasma, which came out early in 2025. Each of these are designed to be worn under a riding jacket, as the soft fabric on both of these is not going to hold up in any sort of a crash or a slide, likely tearing the airbag bladder. Now, your jacket needs to be able to fit loose enough to provide room for the airbag to inflate during deployment. So if you can grab a couple extra inches of your jacket material, you're good to go. If you got a snug, form-fitting leather jacket, it's probably not going to work unless that leather jacket was specifically designed to be worn with an airbag and has the expansion panels that are needed. So how does the new one compare to the original? Well, let's first break down and talk about the original Tech Air5 here. This model sold for about $800 when it was released here in the US. It provides good coverage for the ribs, chest, shoulders, as well as the back, and has a back protector built into it. It recharges with USB and will give you about 30 hours of ride time on a full charge. It's got two modes: street mode for day-to-day street use, as well as a race mode if you're going to use it on a track. Now, to switch between those modes, you have to pair your phone with the vest and use their app to go in and change those modes. The race mode algorithm is tuned for what you would typically expect at a racetrack. For example, it's not going to provide any rear end impact protection because they don't want it going off if somebody happens to bump into you while you're sitting in pit lane. Street mode, however, will deploy if you're sitting at a red light and somebody comes in and rear ends you. Street mode can also be used for what Alpinestars terms as light off-road riding, which they describe as a smooth gravel road or relatively smooth dirt road. No single track or enduro style riding here. The bladder, I can feel, comes down and covers just below the ribs right here, and comes over just shy of where the zipper is for providing that chest protection. And it also wraps around, I can feel the bladder material wrapping around the rib cage here, where it connects with the back, and of course has that full back protector in addition to the air bladder. And if you do have this deploy on you, it is not user serviceable, so you're going to have to send it back to an Alpinestars service center to have them service it, put a new cartridge in it so it's charged and ready to go. Then we have the Tech Air5 Plasma. This one goes for about $840 here in the US. Again, was released early of 2025, and it's a good bit lighter than the old one, by about just over half a pound lighter. And overall, it is a more slim fit, as well as being a slimmer and more comfortable fit under my riding jacket. In fact, once I have this one on, it really just kind of disappears. You don't notice that you're wearing it. It too is good for 30 hours of ride time on a full battery charge, but it has a number of other welcome updates and improvements over the original. The biggest one being the fact that you can now replace this gas canister on this one by yourself if the vest deploys. No need to ship it off anywhere. However, that canister is a little spendy. It's going to set you back just over $100 to do that replacement. Another update is the addition of an off-road ride mode on top of the existing street and race modes that this vest has, where the off-road mode can now support riding a bike, standing up on the pegs and hitting harder dips and bumps that are typical of off-road riding. And you can now change those ride modes right from the control pad on the vest itself here. You can still use the phone app, but you don't have to. They also added haptic feedback to the vest, so like when you zip it up and it's closed and activated, this part here vibrates a little bit so that you know, okay, now the vest is on. You don't have to look down at the lights. And it does it when the vest deactivates as well. Plus, the Plasma can be completely disassembled by the user. You can remove the airbag bladder and all the mechanics and electronics from the shell of the unit, so that way you can wash this from time to time. However, it is not exactly a 5-minute process to do that disassembly, but it can be done. The other thing with the Plasma is, yes, it is more comfortable and it flows more air, but it does that because they reduced the frontal coverage area of the air bladder compared to the original Tech Air5. So the new Tech Air5 Plasma is more comfortable to wear. It flows more air as you're riding with it on, and it has a number of welcome updates and improvements compared to the original. So what's the problem? Well, the dirty little secret that this one is hiding is the fact that it went down from a CE Level 2 safety rating to a CE Level 1. Now, don't confuse these with the CE ratings that are applied to passive armor, as the standard is different. Both tests involve dropping a striker that's going to deliver 100 kilonewtons of impact energy. A CE2 passive back protector is going to reduce it from 100 to no more than 9. A CE Level 1 airbag is going to reduce it from 100 to no more than 4.5. And the CE2 airbag reduces it from 100 to no more than 2.5. Alpinestars actually lists the actual test results for the original Tech Air5 in its owner's manual, showing that during testing it reduces that 100 kilonewton impact energy to less than 1. More than meeting the requirements for CE Level 2 airbags. But for the Plasma, they only confirm that it meets the CE Level 1 standard, allowing no more than the 4.5 kilonewtons of impact energy. And for both of these Tech Air5s, they are only certified as back protection, even though they have air bladders that come over and cover the ribs and the chest, neither of which are actually tested and certified to provide any chest protection. Unlike the less expensive Alpinestars Tech Air 3, which interestingly enough is certified to the highest CE Level 2 airbag standards for both back protection and chest protection. Now, while test results are an important piece of information for directly comparing different pieces of gear and how they performed under the controlled conditions of that exact test, it is not the be-all, end-all for predicting how a piece of gear is going to perform in a real-world crash. There's just too many variables at play. For me, despite being a step down in CE level protection, my go-to is the Tech Air5 Plasma. I like the convenience of being able to service it, being able to take it apart to clean it once in a while, and I really like that it's just more comfortable to wear while I'm on the bike. I'm more likely to want to wear it, and I like the addition of that off-road mode for when I'm out on my Pan America hitting some dirt. So whether it's CE2 or CE1, an airbag is going to provide more protection than passive armor, and it's up to each of us to decide how we want to balance protection, comfort, and cost when it comes to how we're going to protect ourselves on the motorcycle. To dive deeper into airbag protection in general, check out this other video here. As always, thanks for watching, ride safe, and wear an airbag.